Hi, so I'm redoing the independent reading right now because I feel like my old video was really bad, and that's why it's like unsubmitted and stuff like that. But introduction out of the way. Hi, my name is Julio Castillo, and I'm in second period, and the book I chose to read was A Gentleman in Moscow. I'm about 320 pages into it. I've been reading like 20 to 30 minutes a night, so that's why I haven't gotten that far in a month. But the book's really good right now. Um, I chose this book because of a friend of mine told me. They were like, "Hey, this book right here, A Gentleman in Moscow, it is really good. It is it they didn't want to spoil it for me, but they just said this book is amazing, and yeah, so that's why I chose this book, and that's why I'm currently reading it. And yeah, and for the favorite part of the book, I wrote down a couple quotes. Like, as I came across them in the book, I wrote down a couple quotes, and I just want to say the quotes instead because I feel like the book is there's parts that are like really enjoyable, but if you like use quotes, then it'll like I feel like the quotes are like a better representation of like what you'll encounter in the book and something like that. So yeah, I have them on a Google Doc right now. I'll just read them right now. You can interpret them as you want, but one of the quotes I really want to talk about because like it's hitting me right now. Um, I'll just start right now. After all, what can a first impression tell us about someone we've met for a minute in the lobby of a hotel? For that matter, what can a first impression tell us about anyone? Why, no more than a chord can tell us about Beethoven, or a brushstroke about Botticelli. By their very nature, human beings are so capricious, so complex, so delightfully contradictory that they deserve not only our consideration but our reconsideration and our unwavering determination to withhold our opinion until we have engaged with them in every possible setting and in every possible hour. Let's see, next quote. If a man does not master his circumstances, then he is bound to be mastered by them. What matters in life is not whether we receive a round of applause. What matters is whether we have the courage to venture forth despite the uncertainty of acclaim. Fate would not have the reputation it has if it simply did what it would do. If it simply did what it seemed to do, I'm sorry. If patience wasn't so easily tested, then it would hardly be a virtue. Let's see. We have our last two quotes right now. The principle here is that a new generation owes a measure of thanks to every member of the previous generation. Our elders planted fields and fought in wars. They advanced the arts and sciences and generally made sacrifices on our behalf. So by their efforts, however humble, they have earned a measure of gratitude and respect. And this is the quote I want to talk about right now. It is a sad but unavoidable fact of life, he began, that as we age, our social circles grow smaller. Whether from increased habit or diminished vigor, we suddenly find ourselves in the company of just a few familiar faces. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of feel like that, right? Like ever since like quarantine and like the lockdown and all that stuff has happened, I definitely feel that. Especially like so you have like school friends. Yeah, you obviously know. So you have school friends, and they're they're like acquaintances. You have fun with them and stuff like that. You consider them a friend. But like as the lockdown like went on and stuff like that, you just don't talk to them, and you just don't. You're just not talking with them. You're just not doing anything with them and stuff like that. You grow apart from them, and for me, that's happened with a lot of people. I've grown apart from them, but I've also gotten closer with a lot of people over this. I've gotten close to a lot of people that I've wanted to talk to and stuff like that. But I could see that like my best friends are like the ones that I've been consistently talking to, the ones I've consistently been not hanging out with. Hanging out is bad. Um, the ones I consistently been been going to when I have like a problem or something over these like 6 months of lockdown where we can't really see anyone. But yeah, I definitely feel it in this book. It made me realize that when I read that quote, I was like, whoa, that's happening to me right now. But yeah, I'm sorry that I went off on a tangent just because of that. But right now, the next part, I'm gonna explain like a brief summary of the book. Yeah, it's a brief summary of the book. So, um, the book is centered in 1920, and the main character is Alexander Ilyich Rostov. If if you can infer, very Russian. The book is in Russia in the 1920s. More specifically, the content of the book, what's happening right now, is the main character Alexander Rostov was he's an aristocrat, and in that time Russia was like, hey, we don't like those people, and they sentenced Alexander to house arrest. I was gonna say life in house arrest, but they sentenced him to house arrest for life, and but he lives in a hotel, and so it basically the book basically like centers upon like his life in the hotel and all the people he's met. It's very much a book about like the people around you are the most important people in the world, because it a lot of the book, well, almost all of the book is in the hotel, what Alexander's doing, like his life in the hotel, all of that stuff. That's what's happening throughout the whole book, and you see a lot of like familiar faces. A lot of things happen. A lot of things change too in the hotel. Like the other main characters I would say are like Nina and Mishka. Nina is a 9-year-old girl at the beginning of 1920. At the beginning of like the house arrest that happens, she's like a 9-year-old girl that like Alexander like connects to and stuff like that, and like she like they just connect and stuff like that. And the book spans over a long period of time. So like at the part I'm at right now, like page 320, it's like the 1940s. The girl grew up. The girl has a daughter, and this really interesting part in the story right now, Alexander's never had like a like he's never taken care of a child, but the girl Nina puts a big responsibility on him and says, hey, I need to go somewhere. She's kind of like an activist at the moment. She's like, hey, I need to go somewhere. I need to do something very important. I'm gonna leave you my daughter. I'm gonna go with my husband. I'm gonna go do that, and yeah, I'm gonna go do all of that. And he here, just can you please take care of my daughter for a month or two? And Alexander's like, I will never say no to anything you say. You've done so much for me, and so he's taking care of the daughter. But then like soon into it, Alexander has like a worrying fit, like where he's like worrying about different things. Like he's worrying about his best friend. He's worrying about Nina. He's worrying about a lot of things, and like in the book, it sort of like brings you into the future where it's like Nina never came back, and that's kind of where I got to. A little bit past that, she's still taking care of the daughter, whose name is Sophia, stuff like that. But it's like Nina never came back for her daughter, and that's I was like, whoa, and also like his best friend is kind of important to the story, very important to Alexander, and there's a lot of foreshadowing that's happening. I'm very not scared, but I'm nervous for what's gonna happen, because like I was reading it and I was like, whoa, something bad might happen to his best friend. But also like a big part of the story centers around the Boyarsky, and most of the anecdotes in the story are in the Boyarsky, which is a restaurant in the Metropole Hotel that Alexander's in, and it's basically Alexander's like key spot to be in. What he loves to do, he's a connoisseur of wine, a connoisseur of food, a connoisseur of many things. That's what Alexander is. And basically a lot of the story is like in the restaurant with Alexander, like eating the food with people, talking to people, stuff like that in the restaurant. He also has a job in the restaurant, stuff like that. He is very, I'd say the restaurant's one of the biggest parts in the story. And also like, yeah, I don't know if I spoiled too much. I hope I didn't. Yeah, I really like the book at the moment. I love all the little anecdotes and the stuff that's happening right now. I'm so excited to read more of it, and yeah, I hope I get 100%. Please.